We're developing a new production called The Reckoning, which is a post-apocalyptic story set in the present day.
I started searching at home. I found a piece of paper with my daughter's number on it. And then I wrote on a bit of paper, I wrote, "Please, call my daughter. Tell her that everything's all right with me."
It's inspired by interviews taken with Ukrainians who are survivors of the Russian war in Ukraine and collected by Ukrainian journalists. It's a play that Anastasiia and I have written, drawing on these extraordinary verbatim interviews and turning it into a piece of compelling drama. We're privileged to work with the Reckoning Project, who are gathering witness testimonies in order to extract evidence to prosecute the Russians in crimes against humanities in international courts.
They tied me up, threatened me with machine guns, took me to the first floor and ordered me to keep quiet, not to open my mouth at all, otherwise it would end badly for me. It was still really cold at that time. I wasn't prepared for anything. I was lightly dressed. I was already frozen there because it was really very cold, but they saw that I was shivering. They found a piece of styrofoam at the construction site somewhere, brought me this styrofoam, put it under me, and they told me to sit down. After a while, one of them came in. They were all wearing masks.
Anastasiia and I spent about 6 months reading the transcripts of the interviews and really talking extensively, trying to understand what the themes might be, what particular parts of the story we found particularly important and powerful. And we decided to focus on one particular story told by a security guard to an interviewer. The story is about the experience of the security guard who stayed during the Russian occupation in a house alongside Russians and then survived for 10 days after they'd left.
There's a small generator, like a trailer. It seemed as if no one was there. And just as I started to leave, somehow I caught a glimpse of a person. He was hiding, it turned out, at the construction site down there. I immediately raised my hands. I said, "I'm a civilian, don't shoot." Then he came out with his hands up. I said again, "I'm a civilian, don't shoot." He started to approach me.
So we wrote a first draft, but we haven't heard how it sounded off the page with actors. So we've brought together a cast of physical performers and worked with wonderful movement director Josephine, who helped us kind of lift that text and play with it and bring in humour and lightness and physicality into this incredibly, sometimes harrowing, sometimes just deeply moving story.
One of the dogs, Tyson, he was a Russian terrier. And when they saw this dog, they asked, "What breed is that?" And when I said it's a Russian terrier, they were like, "Damn it, a fellow countryman."
It's really a privilege to bring into the piece Ukrainian performers who not only can speak in Ukrainian but can bring their lived experience, and I'm trying to find ways to ensure that in our final performance that becomes very kind of acutely visible in some way, that some of our performers are themselves survivors and refugees from the war.
І здавалося, ці вибухи нескінченні. Що вони ніколи не скінчаться, що воно ось вибухає, 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 вибухає.
We've worked with the Ukrainian composer Anton Baibakov to create a sound world. We've also worked with an artist well-being practitioner and a psychotherapist, Lou Platt, who helped us understand the motivation and what's really going on for the interviewees, but most importantly also how to look after ourselves in the rehearsal room and take care as we're encountering this material. There are so many Ukrainians who've moved to the UK through the Homes for Ukrainians scheme. This is a way of also bringing those people into our theatres and giving them a voice and enabling them to share their experience. I'm really excited about how this production can involve the Ukrainians in the UK. The world needs to know what's going on in Ukraine. The Reckoning will humanise the experiences of the victims, bringing their stories to the stage and sharing them in compelling, compassionate, moving, emotional, beautiful and engaging ways.